Hello and welcome to Claru Cheating Tales. Kindly give this video a like and join Relation Tales. I thought I would spend the evening with my wife when I got home from work after dating for 6 years. She was pressing her dress for a party, eager to hear about our ideas. Women can't help but notice Maria at events, so I've always been interested in what she does for fun. She has dark brown eyes, dark skin, long, loose hair, and a slim, athletic body. Before I could ask what we were going to do, she said that earlier that day she had met someone named Logan by chance. That name sounded like someone I knew, so I thought it might be her high school boyfriend. She said it was true, and they broke up because they were going to different schools. She had talked about him before, but I had never met him. Marie told me that she ran into Logan in the hallway of my office building, and that they talked about going to dinner together. I agreed, even though I didn't like it when other people joined our dates because this seemed special. Then she told Logan that dinner was only for the two of them. It didn't make sense for her to meet her ex-boyfriend by herself, especially since we were supposed to go on a date. When I asked why I wasn't invited, she said it was just to meet up with an old friend and she didn't want me to judge their past. I told her it didn't seem right for a married woman to eat dinner by herself with a guy, especially an ex-boyfriend. As the stress rose, I offered to either cancel the dinner or go with her. She was mad about this. She told me that I'm her husband, not her father, to show that she was independent. Even though she tried to stop me, I kept saying how unhappy I was with the situation. She was so desperate that she chose to leave by herself. After she left, I got a beer from the fridge and sat at the kitchen table to think about how we were different. We always talked about things until we agreed on how to move forward in the past. We didn't say that we would make choices without taking the other person's view into account. I couldn't deny how beautiful she looked, but what I really thought was that she looked too good for this dinner. We'll talk more about this when I get home, okay? She stopped, kissed me on the cheek, and walked away. I had to believe what she said because we had already talked about it and she had made her point clear. She wouldn't care what I thought about what she wanted to do. Before I left, I told her to remember to use a condom and told her about our plans for the future. She quickly told him, "I'm not going to sleep with you, it's just dinner," then wished me luck and hurried out of the house. I went to bed early. She left around 7 p.m. and I heard her come back around 10:30 p.m. She went straight to take a shower, which was her usual evening routine, so nothing seemed unusual. Afterwards, she slid into bed with me naked and whispered in my ear, "Baby, I could use some fun tonight." She told me. Honestly, the very thought that she could get turned on by Logan and then come home for intimate affairs didn't make me too happy. I just wanted to know who she was thinking about. Besides, I didn't feel like we'd fully reconciled. Lying on my back, I found the moment enjoyable as expected, but her argument still didn't match her expectations. She snapped. "Would you rather I get turned on by you and then have sex with him?" I calmly replied. "So you admit that talking to him turns you on?" She tried to object. "No, that's not what I meant. Regardless of the circumstances, I will only be intimate with you. I love you and I don't understand why you can't understand that." I sat up and turned to face her. "I can't understand why you can't understand why it bothers me. Whatever you were to him before, you are my wife now. My feelings should mean something, as they always have. But now that Logan is back in town, I'm suddenly an obstacle that needs to be dealt with so you can do what you want." She lowered her head and said quietly, "You're right, babe. I'm sorry about that. I should have given your feelings more thought. I forgot about the people who were important to me because I was enjoying the moment. Could you forgive me?" I felt better when she finally got what I meant and pulled her to me. I told her, "Of course I forgive you, darling." She asked, "Can we make love now?" with her beautiful brown eyes. We were deeply interested in that moment. After 2 weeks, Maria called to say she was running late at work because of a special project, and I forgot about it. Logan was supposed to show up on Wednesday, as planned. I chose to stop by Maria's office on my way home from work because I don't think odd things happen by chance. I bought her some sandwiches to make it look like I was bringing her dinner. After going to the security desk to check in, I went to her office. Maria was a secretary for a large insurance business. This was the first time in 3 years that she had to stay late at work. The front door was locked because it was late. She saw me when I tapped on the glass. When she got to the door, she looked like she was busy. She had a beautiful smile on her face when she saw me, though. She was happy to see me and shocked that I showed up out of the blue. I offered that we get something quick to eat. We had dinner in 15 minutes and talked about our days. After that, I drove home and left her at work. What a fool I was to question her loyalty. That one dinner might have been the only time they didn't talk after that. The same thing happened again after 2 weeks. She said she had to stay late to work on a new project. I couldn't get rid of the feeling that something wasn't right, even though this could mean more work. To get rid of my worries, I called her office straight away. I called twice, once at 5:45 and again at 6:30. She answered both times and said she loved and missed me in a normal voice. This happened every other Thursday, and her answers were always the same, which made me feel better. Still, I kept calling her often because I was scared. At an insurance company party, where Maria worked, things took a turn for the better. After 4 months, I was jokingly talking about special projects with Sheila, the office manager. It was clear right away that Sheila hadn't given Maria any jobs like this in the past few months. I told Sheila I was sorry, but then I thought it became clearer what was going on with the Thursday delays. Logan may have changed his plans because he was suspicious or because of an accident. Proof was the only thing that was missing. I parked my car next to Maria's office building on Thursday of the following week and saw her get out, in charge of Logan's hand. I followed them as they drove off in a Ford Taurus, which wasn't what she usually carries. The cars around them gave me great cover, so I could sneak up on them and get the proof I needed. I planned where to park so that no one would see me. From far away, I took a shot of them on their way to the hotel room. The door was opened by Logan, and they kissed passionately for a long time on the threshold. When I saw the ring she still had on her finger, it gave me a bad feeling. I wanted to know if she liked wearing those rings like this. I called my lawyer, made an appointment, and let my boss know I would be out for a short time. It took about 2.5 hours for the door to open again. While Noria buttoned and adjusted her clothes, I kept taking shots. She didn't look put together, and her attitude made it clear. There was clear proof that she was at the hotel with Logan. I put my phone away and went home. I'm glad we didn't have kids or anything important together. It would be easy if the cars and savings were split in half. As expected, her next call was to give another update on a special project and a work slowdown. I told her everything was okay and that I would see her at 7 o'clock. 5:30. I knew that was the last meeting. I took care of our bank accounts and paid our bills without telling her. I stopped following up when she called again to say she was running late because I knew we were going to break up. It didn't surprise me that I chose to stop for food on the way home, but I didn't enjoy what I was eating. I began to pack my things. I was ready to leave when Maria came back at 7:25. Everything was packed up and in the car. She was happy when she walked in and said hello. I pulled away when she tried to kiss me though. We sat down at the table in the kitchen where we often talked. She was happy, but she had no idea what was going to happen. At first, she thought I was just joking when I talked about how late she worked and didn't understand how important it was. As I asked her more questions, she began to look lost. As I slowly told her the truth about her late nights, the conversation got more heated. That's when I decided this would be our last time together. I told her that I knew why she was seeing Logan. She was angry and upset, and she said she hadn't seen him since she met him by mistake a few months ago. Her words didn't match the way she looked, but she told me she wasn't lying. I showed her the pictures from 2 weeks ago and told her to name that guy if it wasn't Logan. The pictures were spread out on the table. They showed Maria leaving the room in a mess. The papers for the divorce were next to them. Oh no, Henry. It was really nothing. Nothing at all. She begged us not to forget. But I was determined not to give up. I told her that we had agreed at the start that cheating would end the relationship. Even though she told me she loved me and gave me promises, I couldn't ignore the many times she lied and betrayed me. I believed our marriage was strong. She was sad. Henry, come on. I really love you. I have no idea what it is. But seeing him made me feel like I did in school again. I wanted to go through them again. After 2 weeks, he asked me to go to dinner with him, and I said yes. We checked into a hotel. I wish I could say I didn't want to, but I gladly agreed. It got easier each time, but not as fun. It was quite clear that it was too late for me to stop it. I'm sorry, Henry, come on. I'm really sorry. Even though she said she was sorry, I left the flat for the last time. After 4 months, the divorce was official, and at least Mary didn't fight the decision. I found a 1-bedroom apartment, and Maria moved in with Logan after switching jobs. Even though I was busy with work, I missed her and knew we wouldn't be together anymore. Almost a year after that last night at the kitchen table, Maria sent me a text message. She sent me a message saying she was back in town and would like to meet up. We agreed to meet at a small bar close to my home. She was sitting in a corner when I walked in. Even though she looked a little different, she was still beautiful after losing weight. I gave her a friendly hug and a kiss on the cheek to say hello. Maria, why are you in town? As I sat down next to her, I asked. It was a surprise to her that I got a strawberry daiquiri while she got a Coke. She heard that my normal order had changed and told me that didn't sound like me. Last year, a lot has changed. Life is full of surprises, I replied. The anger and resentment had already subsided, and we just sat together like 2 old acquaintances. Maria admitted that Logan had cheated on her. I found that ironic, but I expressed sympathy and asked how she found out. Turns out there are other husbands who were less tolerant than you. Some of them got together and physically expressed their displeasure with Logan by sending him to the hospital. After that, he disappeared. I don't know where he went, she replied. She turned to me. I am truly sorry for my actions. I was foolish to fall in love with the memory of a man who no longer exists and may never have existed. We had a wonderful marriage and I still love you. I've learned my lesson. Is there any chance? At that moment, the door opened and a figure in a knee-length blue dress walked toward me. The tall blonde placed her purse on a chair, pecked me on the cheek and said, "Hey babe, sorry I'm late. My appointment ran late." She took my drink and sipped through the straw. "I got your message. It's all taken care of. Of course there's no such thing, but I'm ready to spend this evening with you," she said. "My name is Renee and this is Maria. Maria is my ex-wife. This is Renee S." The girl smiled. "It's great to finally meet you." Renee smiled and turned to Maria. "I know a lot about you." Maria said, "I hope it's something good." She smiled and added, "Except for the last few months of your marriage, he said nice things about you." "That's probably not a surprise, though. He is good. Be smarter than me and stick with him." Turning to Renee. "I plan to," Renee replied. "We've already made plans." I watched their conversation, feeling a little sorry for Maria when she noticed the wedding ring on Renee's finger. Looking a bit confused but still smiling, Maria said, "Congratulations. That's great. I'm happy for you." Renee smiled back. "You were hoping to get him back, weren't you?" Maria sighed. "Yeah, I was hoping to, but I don't seem to have a chance, I think. I should go now." "No need to be in such a hurry," Renee said, putting her hand on Maria's arm. "I wish I knew you better." Maria didn't understand. "Why would you want to meet the ex-wife of your fiancé?" "Because he loved you and thought you were important to him. You helped him grow into the man I love. Why wouldn't I want to get to know you better and become your friend?" Renee said, "Of course I won't let you two be alone together. It only makes sense." Maria smiled in a sad way. "What a twist. I once heard that when you're dating someone else. You shouldn't hang out with your ex by yourself." I wish I had paid attention to that advice at the time. The second story. My partner is 27 years old and we've been together for almost 2 years. We just moved in together in March. A few weeks ago I woke up and she hadn't called or texted me. Because she normally works until 3.4. That was very strange and scary. I called her to see how she was doing and to make sure she was okay. She told me she went to an event by herself after work. She was going to see some girls she met at the bar. She meets people at the bar where she works as a cook, which is why she has long hours. The girls didn't show up, and she did cocaine with a strange guy there, but she said they didn't do anything. My mom had open heart surgery about a week ago. I was really stressed out that day because it took a lot longer than planned and there were problems. I only wanted to talk to my girlfriend about it when she got home at midnight. She had to drop something off at our sister's site, so she had to leave early, around 10:30. When she got there, she saw that another girlfriend of hers was working the bar, so she chose to stay there until 12:30. She chose to stay at a bar for 2 hours after my mom's surgery instead of coming home to be with me. It made me really mad. Something similar took place last Sunday. She stayed at the place where she works, going out to drink with two former co-workers. One was a woman she worked with and the other was a man she never worked with. We were going to cook dinner and hang out together when she got home, but she kept saying she would be there soon. I soon gave up and went to bed because I was tired. At the end of the day, she said, "Hey, remember when I was drinking with the old cooks on Sunday?" I replied, "Yes, I do." She went on, "Well, before I left, the male cook and I were talking outside by my truck and we were both bad. I kissed him back after he leaned in and kissed me." Then she told me it was completely out of character for her. She stopped him on everything and sent him a message saying she was in a happy relationship and didn't want to mess it up. Since I've been cheated on before, my first thought is to end things, figure out where we'll live, and maybe live together happily until our lease ends in March. We could also end the lease early, which would give me time to get my own place ready. I'm not sure if I'm panicking or if it's not that big of a deal since she told me 2 days after the event. She didn't even sleep with him. But at the same time, what's to say that I won't have to let this slide again in the future?